honestly didn't speak to him all day today, and like you guys did that. You guys didn't even tell me whatever, but it is what it is. Honestly, I'm good. A bit salty because I was just hearing shit. The only reason why I fucking knew anything was because I was spying.
To say I'm devastated is an understatement. I really loved Elisha, and I'm sad for Elisha because I felt she was entertainment gold. I know she was very erratic, and maybe her and Sydney being in the villa would have been a bit too much, but it would have been way better. It would have been a better toxicity than the one that we had with the clique. I didn't like the clique at all. I'm happy that they've been separated or one of their members has been taken out. I would have preferred it be Hannah, but beggars can't be choosers. And then the twist to have Mimi and Dylan go on a date, but with the new arrivals, was messy. And to have them sit across from one another and watch each other the dates, I didn't like that. I like the fact that Dylan was respectful, but I was side-eyeing Mimi for the way she was flirting with Steph, because Steph, to me, side-eye. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island Australia, Season 6, Episode 6. Taylor is dancing on my last nerve. I'm sorry, he is dancing on my last nerve because I feel like whatever he's doing, he's just doing it for the attention. He doesn't have the riz to be the riz of the season, because he came back from the group date and then he met Elisha, was hugging and kissing on Elisha. Elisha said to him, okay, so how was your date? How did it go? Did you see anyone you liked? What happened? And he wouldn't come out and say exactly what happened. And it's like, why won't you own up to what's happened on this date? Instead, he said, I need to speak to the guys. I need to sort of just have a conversation. I miss the boys. And Alicia's like, but you went with the majority of the boys. The only person that was left here was Nico. You can't say you want to see Nico over talking to me. And he said, okay, I'll come back and have a conversation. I feel like he's undecided. This is why he was doing that, because the next thing you see him sit with the guys, and the producers are so predictable, and you can tell what's producer driven and what's not, because they had them sit right outside the girls' changing room, and it's like they want the girls to hear what's being said. There's no other excuse for this outside of they want the girls to hear what's being said. And so you had Zanti there listening into what was being said, and Elisha came and joined her, and you have Taylor busy telling the guys, I had a conversation with M, and I'm a bit confused because with Elisha there's a lot of sexual attraction, we're hugging, we're kissing, but then also with M, and then you have Santi and Elisha run into the changing room, so we didn't get to hear that bit. When the girls came back, he was saying, I feel like I'm back to square one. I feel like he said he's more physically attracted to Elisha, but when it comes to depth, there's more depth with M, which I don't think is the case. I believe that the reason why he's saying this is because he's afraid of Elisha. Elisha is a short fuse. She's very unpredictable. And this is why he's afraid to have in-depth conversations with her, because he knows if he does or says anything wrong, she's going to call him out on it. Whereas with M, he feels like he can get away with whatever he wants to. And I think this is why he's undecided and he's sort of stuck in between the two girls. They are two totally different girls. So I don't get the confusion there. I wish the boys had pressed him and asked him to clarify, what exactly do you mean? That would have made more sense to me. You have the girls, you still have the three girls, Mimi, Sophie, and M in the bedrooms. They're having a conversation, and M is sort of saying that she is now physically attracted to that man. She's not physically attracted to him. She knows for a fact that if Sophie picks Indigo, then she's stuck. She's got no one else, so that's why she suddenly developed this physical attraction. I don't think there's a physical attraction. I don't think it was ever there. I think it's a made-up attraction, and Elisha is right to call her out on that. Sophie on her part is saying she's stuck in between Zayn and Indigo, and I said this yesterday and I'll say this again. Indigo is boy band looking, he's handsome, but he lacks depth, or he lacks the sort of texture that girls are looking for. Some girls want a bad boy, some girls want, a guy with experience, and because of his age, sadly, he doesn't have that. And so I don't see her picking Indigo. I have a feeling she might not pick Indigo because she's friends with M, because she might not want M to go home. But then I wouldn't want Zanti to go home. I'm sorry, I don't want Zanti to go home. I would rather we send home Hannah if needed, because Hannah is the toxic mess. She's the head of the clique. Or we send home M. M is like watching paint dry. So the islanders pick up their drinks and they receive a text message to gather around the fire pit. So when they gather around the fire pit, Sophie arrives and she informs them that it's time for recoupling. I don't like this. I don't like this. If the bombshell is going to get her pick and that's it, let's end it at that. Why do we have to shuffle up everyone? Yeah, I know it saved my favorite Dylan, but I feel antsy at this moment. Anyway, so Sophie stands up. She had already said she was sort of stuck in between Indigo and Zayn, but she was worried about Zayn because she didn't know how that would play out because she said she wanted to move on. I think she didn't want to get in trouble with the clique, so she decided she chose to couple up with Indigo. Do I think that's the best solution? I think for now this is the best solution for Indigo because this is someone who's closer in age to him than the rest of the girls, because I feel like even though Sophie is more mature than Indigo, they would make a better couple. They would have a better understanding. However, I think with the new bombshells coming in, Sophie might jump ship, and she's better off not having coupled up with Zayn than coupling up with Zayn and then wanting to jump ship. Then it doesn't make sense. It's like she was using Zayn as a placeholder, the same as she's doing with Indigo. In my opinion, she's used Indigo to avoid getting in trouble. The girls have been asked to gather by the stairs because there's a recoupling, so the guys will get to recouple out of the 5 girls who they want to couple up with. And Elisha is crazy because Elisha said, this is going to be a tough decision for you, isn't it? It's going to be a tough decision. I hope they don't send Elisha home. She's a train wreck, yes, I know, but she's entertainment gold. Everybody else would be boring without her. We need a calm couple like Dylan and Mimi, but we also need someone like Elisha to just make things go crazy. Anyway, Nico is the first one to pick. He decides to couple up with Hannah. Am I surprised? No. They remind me of Zach and Lucinda from last season. That's who they are. The only difference is Hannah's maliciousness is actually visible. It's not something that you're sort of guessing. Is she malicious? Is she vindictive? No, she is who she is, and she wears it as a badge of honor. As soon as they called my guy Dylan, I was nervous. Dylan, I'm always nervous for him. I want him to make the best decisions. I want him to stay in the villa until the very end. I don't want him to go home. Anyway, they called up my guy and he says he sees a future with this girl, past friendship, which I love, because at the moment he can't say romantic because they're just getting to know each other. So that I get. And Mimi was nervous. I think she was thinking, what if he plays me and he decides to, go for someone else? But I'm happy that he chose to stick with Mimi. He honored his promise to her that if you keep me here, I will keep you here. I promise you, I will get to know you first. So I'm happy. I do not want Dylan's eye to wander towards Sydney. Sydney is too chaotic for him. Mimi seems calm and composed and very demure. So I want him to stay there. Next up is Zayn. This is the most I've heard Zayn speak, and confidently. I was actually taken aback that, oh my God, is he more comfortable in front of the camera or can he actually speak? Because that has been my problem with him, that I've always worried that does he actually speak? Does he actually make a noise? And so to hear him speak about Zanti, she's beautiful and she remembers the little things, was really sweet. So I'm happy that Zanti stayed, because I was worried, because in the trailer you saw Hannah crying and I was thinking, is Zanti going home? I don't want her to go home. Now I'm nervous because obviously Alicia's still up there and I want Elisha to stay. I hate the clique, but I like certain members of the clique. So I like Zanti, I like Elisha, but I can't stand Hannah for nothing. To say I'm furious is an understatement. I am seething. I loved Elisha. So you have Taylor stand up. He sort of goes into his speech, I think we have a lot in common, blah, 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 blah. And then he decides to pick M. I don't get it. I said it before, I'll say it again. The only reason why he picked M is because with M, she's predictable. He can control her. He can contain her. Whereas with Elisha is all over the place. She's a train wreck. So you never know what's coming out of her mouth. You never know what she's going to do. But it all comes from a place of love. She's not as vindictive or malicious as Hannah is. The problem with that clique is Hannah. And so I would have preferred we kept Elisha over Hannah, because Elisha is more entertaining. Anyway, you have Sophie sort of ask questions because she doesn't understand. When she left, Taylor had picked Elisha. So suddenly for him to switch from Elisha to M, this is confusing. And he tries to give this sweet speech. It doesn't make sense to me. I feel like he only tried to sort of redeem himself and make it seem as though he was doing what was in his best interest, when he knows for a fact he wants a girl he can contain, and he knows as long as he's in a couple with M. Unless somebody else comes that likes M, he's going to be safe. That's my opinion. Whereas M is like watching paint dry. I don't know how long he thinks he can last in the villa with M. People are going to get bored of her and vote them out, sadly for him, unless he decides to be the race of the season. Elisha said her piece. She is right that this girl doesn't like him. She likes the convenience of being coupled up with him until her person comes into the villa, but romantically, M doesn't like him. I didn't like the fact that they told the other 3 girls to stay outside while they went to have a conversation. Maybe it was better that way. That way they could be mean and say whatever they wanted to say without M or Mimi or Sophie hearing them. Elisha is mad. She's seething mad. But I was happy that she wasn't. Well, she didn't say anything that would have had your backup. Yeah, she did tell, Taylor when she sat down with him that you are telling me that you wish you had got to know me better when you only spent 20 minutes with me. The majority of your time you spent it with M. So what do you mean you wanted to get to know me better? If you wanted to get to know me better, you should have spent more time with me. That I agree with. You can't say you want to get to know someone and yet you're not spending time with them. How are you going to get to know them if you're not there to spend time with them and actually ask them the questions that need to be asked? Make that make sense? I didn't get that and I found that very confusing. So I'm really sad that Alicia's gone home. I really am. I hope they do a Kale and actually bring her back at some point, maybe after a few dates. I hope they do that. That would be interesting. So you have M and Taylor having a conversation. I think she's doing a bit too much. Maybe it's because I'm upset with her because my favorite went home instead of her. But I think she's doing a bit too much. I feel like she's laying it on too thick, the way she keeps reassuring, Taylor, that I really like you romantically. And it's like, do you really like him or do you like the idea that he's going to keep you in the villa? I am now keeping my fingers crossed that Sydney, when she comes in, she's going to steal Taylor. She has to steal Taylor because I'm not here for that. I can't stand that. I don't feel there's a romantic attraction between the 2 of them. I really don't see it. Maybe it's just me, but I don't see it. I don't see the romantic connection. I don't see anything special about them as a couple. I think they're going to be very boring. If Sydney doesn't steal Taylor, then Taylor and Em might as well pack their bags and go home. We don't need them in the villa and they can bring in somebody else who's more lively, more entertaining. That's just my opinion and I'm sticking to it. Indigo has a conversation with Sophie. He is very happy. He is very happy that, she's chosen him. He's happy to be in a romantic couple. I hope he behaves himself and he doesn't become all naughty. Because outside of Sophie, I don't think there's anyone else who will entertain him because most of the other girls are older than him. Everybody gets ready for bed. They're excited that they're in couples that they've wanted because every other couple has been romantic outside of the Indigo and M situation. And now that those 2 people have recoupled with other people, they are ecstatic. Everybody goes to bed. And in bed, you can actually see who's attracted to who because people like Zanti and Zayn are always kissing every night. They're always making out. Hannah and Nico, they're always making out in bed. Mimi and Dylan, I think they're being respectful. I think Mimi's told him to be respectful, so they're putting the brakes on that. Indigo tried to make a pass. He tried to kiss Sophie and Sophie told him that I'm keeping it PG tonight. I promise that I'll keep it PG on the first night. So I have to live up to that. And so he gave her a forehead kiss. That was sweet. Em and Taylor, they kissed each other, but it seemed awkward. Am I biased? Maybe. I don't think there's a romantic connection there. I don't think there was a spark. And I think at some point, Taylor's going to have buyer's remorse. That's just me. He's going to have buyer's remorse and wish he had stayed with Elisha. So the islanders wake up in the morning and everyone is excited. Obviously, the girls have a debrief and they're sort of asking what happened, how was your night? And everyone is sort of teasing to say that she was making out in bed with Taylor. I don't know why they keep encouraging this relationship and saying they are a better couple. I know Elisha was chaotic, but I loved Alicia's chaos. I would have preferred Taylor stay with Elisha because Elisha needs someone who can sort of calm her down because she's all over the place. You have the boys sort of having a conversation and the guys are sort of asking Taylor what happened and he reveals that he did kiss Em in bed. He was trying to be respectful but he ended up kissing her in bed and then she kept sort of turning back and eventually he gave her a peck and it seems she kept coming back for more and then eventually they shared a kiss. I think she's trying to secure the bag. I think she's trying to secure him because she's worried that if she doesn't he's going to turn his head for the next person and it's going to be a race situation. The rest of the girls are excited about their couple. couples and they can't wait to continue to explore their connections. Then suddenly, out of the blue, I don't know why, Sophie chose Indigo because she felt that she wanted to do something different. Now suddenly, out of the blue, she's now interested in Zayn, and it's like, make it make sense. You said you didn't want to go back. Now, why are you going back? You said you were done with Zayn and you're ready to move on. So why are we even entertaining the idea of anything with Zayn? Why? You had her in the makeup room trying to put on her makeup. You had to sort of speak to Taylor and they were saying to her, you need to go for it. And it's like, these are the last people you need advice from. They want you to follow them in the sort of naughty corner where they are because of what they did to Elisha. So they want you just to be as bad as they are. Leave, please, Zanti's man. You don't need to go after Zanti's man. Then you had everyone sort of just messing about. I couldn't make heads or tails of what was going on yet. People in the pool, out of the pool, people exercising. And it's like, oh God. Make it make sense. Do we not have anyone to follow in particular? Is there no interesting conversation outside of M and sort of Zanti admiring Nico working out? Everybody else, it was just all over the place. So Dylan and Mimi are having an amazing time. They have been able to keep themselves out of the drama. I think they would be best as the mummy and the daddy of the villa, because I don't think Hannah and Nico, as much as they want to, deserve to be it. Anyway, while they're having a conversation and they're just talking about their looks and, you know, does he prefer her with makeup or without? And I like the fact that he said he prefers her the way she is. She's just coming from working out, or when she wakes up first thing in the morning. That was cute. At least he didn't sort of put his foot in it and say, I prefer you with the makeup. So that was amazing. Mimi then receives a text message and it's like, it's about to be messy. It says, Mimi, prepare for a divine intervention. A love God has chosen you to date today. Please get ready to leave the villa. # prayers answered. Mimi was excited. She was too excited for my liking. And I didn't like that. And then she was celebrating, and I like that Dylan didn't say anything. He just stood there, just kept quiet. He wasn't territorial or possessive. He just minded his own business. But you could tell he was feeling some type of way because he wasn't sure whether, you know, she was going to stay with him or move on to the new guy. Dylan then receives a message to say, you know, Dylan, prepare for divine intervention. A Love Island goddess wants to take you on a date today. Please prepare to leave the villa. And then it says # heaven sent. Mimi's face went from smiling to frown because she realized that, oh crap, I'm not the only one who's been chosen. And it's surprising that they chose the two people that are in a couple. I am also, it's interesting how Sydney has chosen someone who looks like, you know, Dylan, because her ex from Love Island Isaiah was totally different. So I don't get what she sort of liked about Dylan. Or maybe the producers told her who to pick just to try and create drama between Mimi and sort of Dylan, because they've been minding their own business. They haven't been part of the mess. They've just kept to themselves and just focused on building their connection. I don't know. Mimi is now saying that, you know, her type is 6'4" athlete or something like that. And it's like, why? Why do you want to leave Dylan? Don't leave Dylan. Dylan can't cope with Sydney. Sydney's just as bad as Elisha. You want her to drive, you know, Dylan mad. No. Allow Dylan, you know, to enjoy his peace in the villa. He needs to be able to stay until the very end. I don't know whether they're going to keep Dylan and the new guy from France. I don't know. I hope they keep Dylan, though. I love Dylan. I think he's a calming force in the villa. I think he minds his own business and he's not petty or messy. So that would be nice. Allow the French guy to come and do what he does and create havoc in the villa, but please, let's keep Dylan. I'm not sure I would have survived these dates because the cats, myself and cats, ate friends. They're not for me. They're for other people, but keep them, you know, social distancing to at least 2 meters away from me. Anyway, so you have Steph on a date with Mimi, and Mimi is too giggly. She's too giggly for my liking. I don't like this. I know she said that she was worried that Dylan was an F-boy. Well, if you go in the dictionary and you look for F-boy, I never watched the French season of Love Island, but I can bet you Steph's face is right next to it. Steph's face is right next to F-boy. And if I were to pick for Mimi, I would pick Dylan. Dylan seems calmer. Yes, he might be an F-boy, but at least he has the ability to be decent when you want him to be. Whereas Steph It's in the blood, it's in the DNA, it runs deep. I worry about him, and I worry that he will break Mimi's heart if she's not careful. She's very giddy, she likes him, and the fact that she says she listens to Amapiano and Afrobeats made me realize what type of guys Mimi goes for. Now I understand why she's happy with Dylan. Besides, she's already confirmed it that she normally goes for people like Dylan. Their date was cute. It was very flirty. The only awkwardness was it was right across from where Dylan was sitting, and it's like, why would they do this to them? Why would they put them right across from each other? Dylan, on his date with Sydney says she's a bit more mature. Hopefully she's not as toxic as she was on their season. I didn't realize that she dated Isaiah for a year. Apparently she dated Isaiah for a year, and then they broke up, and she's now back and she's looking for love. And it's like, I don't know whether Sydney was the right person. I would have preferred they brought back Serenity. Serenity, I thought, was shortchanged, so I would have loved them to bring Serenity. Yes, she's unpredictable, but I think she would have been entertainment gold as compared to Sydney. Can be toxic at times, but and messy, but she's normally is with her guys. She never involves herself in other people's drama. So I don't know whether they just brought her just for entertainment or what they brought her for exactly. I hope she doesn't turn out to be the Lucinda of this season. So I enjoyed those two dates. They were different ends of the spectrum, which was good, but then I don't know how long term that will look. I don't know how sort of Steph and Mimi will look, because Mimi is very calm, and I think Steph would be too much for her. If she couples up with Steph, there's a possibility that he could dump her for somebody else. Whereas with Dylan, they seem to be very sort of settled in themselves. They seem to understand one another, even though they haven't been coupled up for a long time. Dylan was flirting with Sydney, but not too hard, not like Steph. So I like that he was being respectful of Mimi. Mimi seemed to go all in. I don't know whether it's the height or whatever exactly she liked about Steph. Steph appears to be a great guy. I think he might be one of my favorites with time, because at least he'll ignite a bit of into the villa, because the villa at the moment is very boring, because back there you have people talking about, are you a rabbit or are you a mouse or what, and it's just boring. Watching the guys in the villa at the moment is like watching paint dry, especially given the fact that Taylor is no longer in the love triangle. He's now boring because his partner is just as boring. If you look at Zayn is just the same. Indigo, there's nothing there with the rest of the guys in the villa, so it's nice that they're bringing in Steph. I hope they bring in more girls with personality. I wish they'd brought in Nakia. I don't know whether she dates someone like Steph, but Nakia would have been amazing for Steph, because she would be able to sort of settle him down. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 5. Bye guys.